Hello everyone, and welcome to the Deep Blue Renegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as the Deep Blue Renegade, and I'd like to welcome you guys to episode 143. Today is Friday, August 5th, 2016, and I'm glad you could join me today. So I was thinking I was going to record earlier in the week, and that didn't really work out. So here I am, Friday night, about ready to leave for my trip. Everything is all packed, except for maybe what projects I'm bringing. Excitement. So, well, I do know what I'm bringing is sort of the case where I'm like, am I going to run out of knitting? It's probably not going to happen, so I don't know what I'm worried about, but who knows. But such is life. I don't know, and there is a tremendous amount of yarny goodness in store for you guys, so what I really need to do is to take pictures of everything and put it where it belongs. And I was sort of staring at the yarn shelf and trying to figure out where everything belongs. So we'll see. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge, as we will see in stash position. So yeah, that's what you have to. That is what you have to look forward to. So with that, I will pull out the first thing that comes into my hand, which is my cranberry biscotti sock with drop stitches. Ooh, excitement. So, unfortunately, what is it? I'm working the gusset right now, and there are far more stitches on my itty bitty circ than there should be. But that won't be too hard to fix. So, this is Cranberry Biscotti. It is a pattern I've knit before, which means it qualifies for the Put Your Best Foot Forward cal, which we're doing in Sock Knitters. I don't have a project page for it yet, but I turned a heel. And I'm using 5 scrappy colors of yarn, which makes it qualify for the Happy Scrappy cal that the Stock and Knit Zombies are hosting, so yay. And, lastly, since it is not the 21st of August, I guess for Stash Dash. Woo! Party! So, I have just barely turned the heel on this bad boy, so it still has sort of that 3-dimensional look to it. I decided to do the variegated for super duper contrasty heel, and I'm not sure how much I had knit when I had showed you guys this last, but I managed to get a longer cuff than I would normally make for myself. Well, this is measuring 6 inches now, which wouldn't be totally insane, so I'm not sure. Unless my hand isn't 6 inches and now I'm just full of shenanigans. Full of silliness. I have worked all day today, so that also is probably making me a little punchy right now. It's Wear Ridiculous Shirt Day at work, so, which is every Friday. Oh, yeah. That is more like 7 inches. So, okay. So, I ended up knitting a longer cuff than I would normally do, but it looks like it came in a smidge over 6, like 6 1/4, so that's not going to be too bad. I was worried it was going to be like 7 and that was going to be too much, and apparently this isn't 6 like I thought it was, so oh well, biometric measurements. So, no, I do not remember the designer name. I don't have my phone on me, so it would be inconvenient to look it up, but so it is the last time I did this pattern, I did it wrong. The first time I did it right. This time I am doing it right. And there's a logic to it, so it's not like it's that bad. The last time I knit it, really it was just pure linen stitch. There's supposed to be just a little bit of linen stitch worked in, because you're sort of blending all of the colors together fetchingly. So, in that regard, it's been fun. I'm wondering what other places I could incorporate these techniques, because it is entertaining to do. There we go. I really need to change that setting on my computer, because it is annoying to have to remake it up every 5 minutes, so, oh well. So, it is coming along. This is the first sock. I think I was going to weigh it sometime about now-ish. Not yet, to figure out what my yarn usage was. I did write down how much I started with, and that's, I think, at work, that notebook, so. I don't think I was so smart to have put it into my phone. That would have been the smartest course of action, so I'll probably just write down what it is that I used for everything and whether or not I'm going to change up the pattern for the second sock. Because there are an awful lot of combinations of colors that you can have in this, and it just sort of mashes them all together. And it really, I'm always surprised at how well everything blends in there, so so it was interesting. It seems like the pinks are a bit washed out. Like, this is like screaming neon pink, so whatever. You can't win on the lighting. It's like 7:30 now, so that was when I found time to record, so here we go. So, cranberry sock, biscotti sock is coming along. I still have plenty of this guy, which is what I did the heel out of, and this ball is squishy, but big, so that is the other sort of mainish color, and then I seem to have a lot of both of these other balls left too. So this one is starting to get pretty squishy, so hopefully it can hold up. And this ball, I think the green is the smallest amount that I had, so I think that was like 14, so if I have 7 grams left, then I should be fine. And if it turns out that I have to drop a color in this particular pattern, I don't think it's actually going to be super duper noticeable, considering I have plenty of some of these more main color sorts of ones. So the gray is definitely the most contrasty one of the bunch, but happy with how it's turning out so far. So these will be some crazy socks for me. The Dear Sweet Lovable one, I showed it in his general direction, he was like, no. So they won't be for him, because he doesn't want them. So there's that. So coming along, it's been my primary carry-around project now, because it is small and fits nicely in my bag. Let's see. We'll get everything else into position. So the other one's going to be a little bit more challenging to pull out, because I ended up unfurling it a little bit. So, no worries, guys. Let's see, am I in the middle of a row? No. So, I'm in fact at the end of the row, because all 3 colors are hanging out over here. So, when I talked with you guys last, I was still working on the 2 color stripe section. But now, there we go, I am cruising along on the 3 color stripes here. So you can see how the colors have subtly, or it's pretty subtle, have become darker on this end here. We're talking about a nice big wingspan right now, and I've worked in more than half of the stitches with the 3 color part of the shawl, so they're short rows, so the rows are getting longer and longer and longer, but I managed to get to the halfway point. Basically, I was starting the 3 color section right before boarding on the transatlantic flight back from Germany, and I got pretty far. So I showed it to the person who was giving this one away, and he was very excited, so hard to go wrong with the purple. So it seems like it's going to meet the requirements. So this guy is Color Affection. It is a Vera Valimaki pattern, and it's been turning out gorgeous so far. So this edge here is pretty tight. There were modifications you could do to make it so that you would be able to have a straight edge. I'm not too worried about it here. So, and the variegated ends up, what is it, making the stripes, I think, a little bit less apparent in this, but the fact that the variegated is super contrasty, especially with the white, I think is interesting. So here we go. So it'll be the case where it's probably going to be very different than the other FOs that are out there, but I'm okay with that. So the needle it was on is hanging out here, and I actually incorporated the Shagu interchangeable at last, yay, into here, the longer part. So good long section there, and then on the wrong side it's probably even more crazy than the right side, so much more color mixing, whatnot, on the wrong side of the shawl. So makes for a different sort of visual look with whatever, the wrong side of the garter. So, yay. Woohoo. So I'm assuming that there's probably going to be a decent amount of work done on this. This is the, what is it? I would like to get this done in a reasonable time frame. I would like to get it done for Stash Dash, which means I need to work on it. So nothing like an airplane flight. It was really good airplane knitting, so should be good airplane knitting for tomorrow as well. So as long as I don't have a child in my lap. It seems like that might be a possibility, so I might be keeping my niece entertained because my mom and sister are going to be a little crazy. So in terms of yarn, it looks like I still have plenty of my regular purple, lots and lots and lots of the dark purple, but that'll be a border eventually. And this guy's starting to get squishy, but seems to be holding together nicely. So I would like to have some left over to this, because it would be actually really cool to do a cranberry biscotti with all 3 of these yarns if there's enough left over, because I think it would maybe on repeat now, who knows. So I think that they would go nicely. So that's what I was thinking along those lines. So coming along, not sure, I'm sort of in this 3-color mood right now too, so not sure why, but it is the truth. So those are my knitting projects. What I wanted to call out, I still need to wind this, is I'm thinking of winding this just in case I do run out of knitting on the trip, because it's looking like it's going to be beach, pool, dinner, wash, rinse, repeat for a week. So that could be a lot of knitting time. That could be more knitting time than the Germany trip. So I pulled out my skein of Madelinetosh. This is in the Cobalt colorway, and it is a fingering single. It probably is a very close brother to this stuff here, because they are technically speaking the same base. Different dyeing style though, because it's not catching any of the blues in here, but I pulled it out anyways. So pondering, what is it, doing Out of Darkness. So I have a couple of Boo Knits patterns, so I'm thinking that that would be a really cool one to do with this one. So we shall see, but it's sounding enticing to me, so it's on the list. And it smells like Madelinetosh, which is, they like vinegar for some reason, I don't know why. So there we go. I think I bought this in Chicago or maybe I got it as a prize. One of the two. So, and this would be a shawl for my aunt. She's the blonde one, so this was gonna look super duper great with her skin tone and coloring and that sort of thing, so we'll figure something out. I'll have to figure out if it has beads. If it has beads, then I'm not dealing with that. Or at the very least, I guess I could get started and get it to a point. I don't think it has beads though. Maybe it does. We'll see. Or maybe I need to pick a pattern to go with it that doesn't have beads, so not sure yet. I'll have to decide. So this is getting wound up. It might be a project, or might not. I sort of want to wind this too, though. And actually make a shawl pattern with it. It'd be a monster shawl. Maybe it needs to be something else besides a shawl, I'm not sure, because it is a decent amount of yardage. Not sure yet. I'm just full of ideas right now. No direction. So, that is the story there. So, on the spinning front, I did manage to get some progress on my Pigeon Studio. So it turns out it was 70% superwash merino and 30% silk. So, luxurious, very, very nice top. And I have a nice little cop going here. I think I can even sneak this on the airplane going back from Mexico, so I think that's what I'm going to do, because I don't really want to risk my Turkish packed-in luggage, so that is likely what I'm going to do, because it isn't, like, sad answer, you can't fly with knitting out of Mexico, so we won't get through security there. So, but spinning, I think spinning will be okay. So, this guy here is the Pigeon Roof Studios. It's a part of my bin. I did get some progress on it. Generally, it was bait so that German people would try to speak English to me, which was entertaining. It reached the point at some point that all the German people who wanted to speak English to me were exhausted, and then it was German people wanting to speak German to me, or finding unwitting people to translate. This happened twice. So, whatever. My big thing is, like, if you're in this place, it's a lot more fun to just talk to people. So, that is what I did. Now for some rejiggering, I did get a start on something on my wheel. So this is the fiber optic in the bitter lime to rose, but we're sort of we're out of the pink. We're nearly out of the pink now. So this is gradient, gorgeous, beautiful. I'm planning on two-plying it with its buddy to get a ridiculous yardage lace weight yarn. Oops, sorry. And this is how it is turning out so far. So, I have I was watching TV here, so it got a little big, but I'll just keep filling it in from there. So it took about a whole bobbin. It filled about a whole bobbin for the 4 ounces, for the first 4 ounces, and there's still quite a lot left here. I'm guessing I still have at least 3.5 ounces to go on this guy. But gorgeous, spins like a dream. This is an 80/20 superwash merino silk. Enjoying it so far. Wanted to spend more time doing it tonight, but knitting fell through, which is sad, which is why I'm recording on a Friday night. So hopefully after this I'll get a chance to spin on it some more. Because I'm going to have to be at the airport earlier than originally planned. So here are my Xiaogu red lace cables. I need to put these with the Xiaogu set. Get that all tucked away. And let's see, so I already showed you the sock book from before, so should be fun. and figure out which one I really want to make out of this one and go for it. So super duper sweet. Now we are to the stash position portion of the day. So you guys already saw my Regia. Still not sure the colors are turning out quite right on this guy, but good stuff. We'll transfer that to the bag. Let's see, how am I going to do this? Because there was a lot of stash positions. I had a very easy time pulling things out, and I had a very hard time putting things back, which, of course, makes things a little bit challenging. When you're like, I wanted to pick out one lace skein. That didn't work out, so I will organize it somehow. And then, just when I thought I was done, I ended up picking up 2 more, and shenanigans. So, it turns out when you buy this much yarn, they throw in a tape measure. But I did get a chance to go to the Woolmeister store in Pfaffenhofen am der Ilm, which is different than Pfaffenhofen. I almost booked a hotel room in the wrong city, but it turned out that the am der Ilm is a important adder to that. So now I have another cute little tape measure, so that was cool. I guess I can show that which I'm not keeping first. So what I have in my hand is the Chim Chim Chimney colorway. So this is a lace weight skein I ended up picking up from my mother-in-law. She wanted to steal my skein of Chim, and I figured that it was going to be rather easy to make her happy by picking up this. So I texted her, but she was unfortunately in the land of no service and didn't get my message, so she didn't get to put in any requests for finding colorways, so she's super duper excited about this. She knows she's getting it. Probably will end up sending it with some chocolate, because she also requested chocolate, so happy to please. So this guy, not sure where I'm going to put it since it isn't really my stash, but picked up that one. So I picked up 3 other variegated skeins, and I managed to put one back as far as the lace is concerned. So what I put back was Trava Hyacinth, which is, what is it, it's like a teal and blue variegated. What I didn't put back was Rittersporn. So this is purple, a darker purple, and light blue. And what it is coming up on the screen is entirely blue, but this section in here is actually purple, and this section in here is purple. So sort of a, it's hard to say if it's a reddish like some of it comes in as a reddish purple and some of it comes in as a bluish purple to me. But totally wrong on the screen right now, so not picking up too well today, unfortunately. But this has been on my list of want to have colors for some time, and really very gorgeous game. The other one that I picked up was Mond Im 7th House. So this one is coming up more true to color here, so glad about that. Much more pink in here especially, so more of a very vivid dark pink, but pretty close to reality here. So this guy is also a Nobody is Perfect. It failed in dyeing, so it didn't quite take the color the way Claudia wanted. So it has a dark gray, blue purple, the pinky, and then a darker blue in it. So it's pretty variegated. So I was thinking that this would be maybe very interesting as plan pooling something, possibly. I don't know. So I thought it was very pretty and didn't want to put it back, so I didn't. So I was wondering about doing a 3-color sort of shawl in sport weight, and the sport weight that they carry is, what is it? 70% superwash, 20% nylon, and 10% silk. And I ended up picking up 2. They were both failed in dyings, but oh my god, are they gorgeous. So this one is Amcolton Polar, or this one here is Amcolton Polar, which is my favorite and first Woolmisa colorway. So it has sort of a red purple, a blue purple, a sort of teal, and blue. So I really love this colorway. It's one of my favorites. And then what I have here is Verix on Verats. So it has sort of different shades of gray, and then this really sort of, the color's coming in fairly close. This very vivid pinky magenta. So really pretty. Their pinky magentas are fairly close to each other, so I don't know if I would combine them or not. I'm not sure. But I never had gotten blend before. It would have been a very good opportunity to pick up a sweater quantity of blend. But what is it? And these are 150 gram skeins, so really a good size. So 300 grams of sport weight, good amount. So. And then lastly, I ended up picking up Twin, and I guess I should start at the beginning, which was I ended up searching through the Nobody's Perfect because those were a lot cheaper, and I ended up picking 2 from those. So I picked up Barista, which has a brown, a green, and a blue, and also sort of this like tealiness to it that I think was really pretty, and all my hair. So I've seen this knit up. It's really a gorgeous colorway. The other one I picked up was Martha, which I think is from the series of various women's names. So I have Peggy, for example, hanging out in my stash too. And so this one is yellow, green, teal, orange, and red. So it's probably a bit more vivid than it's showing up here. So very Bazinga Bright, super happy colorway. And I ended up picking up one that was not in the, what is it? That was not in the Nobody's Perfect stash. It was a regular full price skein. And this is Gewitta Uber Berlin. So it is a medium blue, a gray, and a dark gray, and sort of bluish overtones in the grays as well. So normally I wouldn't go for the grays and blues, but I really like this one. There was none of it was actually in the Nobody's Perfect, so I pulled it aside. It became mine. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so much yarn, this is ridiculous. And so my husband was being a good sport and standing in the shop, and he was like, hey, I think I would like socks out of this color. And he was pointing to, there's a blanket hanging up in the shop that has a bunch of the colorways knit into squares about this big. And he pointed to the squares that were Thriller, which I did manage to find in the Nobody's Perfect category. It failed in dyeing, so bright orange, light orange, yellow, and black. So very Halloween. The other one was Red Hot Chili, and there was none of this, and the didn't quite work in the dyeing category. So this has the same yellow, orange, but also has like a red and then a very dark red associated with it too. So almost pink. It's coming on the screen a little bit more pink than it actually is, but gorgeous colorway, but this one was not Nobody's Perfect one, so that one cost a little bit more. So I wound up picked up these, but I was like, hey, I could knit you some socks. Which colorway do you like? And he consented, and it was like, which one do you want? And he was like, why don't you just get both? I'm like, okay. This is already sort of ridiculous. But probably what this means is I won't be buying any wool myself for a while. But I did get exactly what I wanted, which were things that's very, very hard to pick up unless it is the middle of the night. So every single one of them is a variegated colorway except for the chim, and I'm assuming it would be, and some of that just had to be with the fact that it's generally easier to get the semi-solid colorways and it is harder to get the variegated ones. So there you go. So it was a lot of stash position, so most of the episode. So that was what I got. Is any of it going on the needles immediately? No. Will it need to be documented and put away? Yes. Will it be a little challenging to do that on my shelf right now? Maybe. I'm gonna have to get creative. Or probably, move things around, so it'd be the case where rejiggering things. So I think I can make the lace fit. I am not so sure that I can make all of my skeins of 80-20 fingering fit where I want them to. It looks like I'm developing a sports shelf that I probably should cultivate more. But it looks like my wool mice is going to be taking up more than 2 slots in my little category thing. Oh, I nearly forgot. I have a finished object. All art of sorts today. So, I didn't show you guys this last week, and it has been modified. It's been modified since I mentioned it last. So, this is my skein of silk. So it is 100% silk from Friends in Fiber. And it is, I ended up Navajo plying the 2-ply, because it was just, I wasn't going to knit with it, with how fine it was. So this it still needs its bath, but I'm guessing it's pretty close to how it's going to be. And Navajo plying it again, I think, softened the hand a bit. So this turned out to be 443 yards of a 6-ply. So really stinking thin, but I'm really happy with how it ended up turning out. So it has a little bit of a cabled ply look to it, which technically speaking it is a cable, just a very different sort of cable. But I am happy with how it turned out. So it's still going to be a good sized FO, because this is 442 yards and 3 ounces. 3! So it's still a light fingering despite all of this nonsense. I don't know. It's amazing. So this is, I'll just hold it quietly, steadily. So the purples and magentas are not coming through very well on the screen. It's very shiny, more shiny when you take a picture with it with a flash. It sort of has, so if you guys have ever felt tussa before, it sort of has more of a tussa feel to it. So it'd be the case where every single rough spot in my hand feels like it's catching on it a little bit. But the fibers are so long, I don't think it's possible to pill this stupid thing. So it is quite ridiculous, probably one of the more ridiculous hand-spun projects I have done before. I started in April. Technically speaking, I really finished it this week. So, what would that be? So, this one took a while. It was spent. The singles were spindle spun. It was plied twice on my wheel, so the lintern. So it was the case where I couldn't get started on the fiber optic till I got this off, and I need to get off. It's been a project for way too long. It took many more months than I was expecting to take about a month to do the project, and it turned into way more. So, because it was ridiculously thin singles, so I probably could have, based on the yardage, I probably could have spun like, what, 3 or 4 3 or 4 skeins. Yeah, something like that, 3 or 4, in the time it took to do this. So I'm going to be working on my bin a lot because it did take so long, but really glad I did wrap it up. So I think I still need to put photos on Ravelry. I did on Instagram at least. So really gorgeous. Not quite sure what pattern to do with it yet. Not quite sure how long the color repeats have turned out now that it's 6-plied. So, or whether or not they're going to be about right or not. Yeah. So, something, maybe like a smoking cowl or something like that. Not sure, but I am very happy with how it turned out. Pretty happy with, how the consistency turned out. And I was talking, like, my, when I was Navo applying it, like, we were talking like a good 2 feet of length for each segment that I was doing on this. So it was nice. It was a nice big segment that was coming together here. So it is fun to Navo apply. I need more excuses to do that. It's just very zen for me, or maybe my Pigeon Roof Studios will end up being a Navajo ply. We shall see. That one might be a 2-ply, thinking about it. So, I would have, for yardage purposes, for Stash Hash, it was probably a better choice to leave it as the 2-ply, but I'm going to be much happier with the finished object as the 6-ply, so. Oh well. I was trying to look out for myself, and then so what was interesting was actually how much yardage I lost. So maybe I miscounted how much I had. So I was thinking it was just going to be 1/3 the yardage, which would have put me 500 and change. So not sure what sort of continuum got warped there. So maybe it was really 1490, and that would add up a little bit better, I think, than what I ended up getting. So there you go. So happy. Done. I still haven't posted in the Knit Girls. I probably should, because I'm going to be, I don't think I'm bringing my computer with me this week, so we're going to keep it simple. I'm looking forward to keeping it simple. So, I think that's everything. It was a long episode this week. I think being back in the stash room helps. And that was a ridiculous amount of stash position. I'm not going to tell you how much I spent. I'm still working on actually getting so in the European Union they have the value added tax, the VAT, and it is 20% of your purchase. And because I bought it in the country, I have to get it refunded, and I'm sort of working through it with the shop. And that I won't be able to get my full 20% back, but at least I'll get a decent chunk of it back, because it was a big enough chunk that I didn't really want to leave that one on the table, you know what I mean? So hopefully we get it all worked out, or whether or not it's impossible because I've left the country. There are some weird rules, and in the heat of the moment I just I need to leave the store. Like it was done. Couldn't do any more. So that is the story there. So I guess I need to get winding some yarn and maybe taking pictures, maybe not, because it is getting dark and it is hard to get good pictures with the unnatural light. So I think that's been my primary, like if I had gotten home and taken pictures right away, it would have been so much easier. But, oh well. It won't be the end of the world. I'll survive. So, with that, I should be able to record next Sunday, or Saturday, maybe. It might be a late episode if it's Saturday. I probably should aim for Saturday, considering everything that's going on. So, I should be able to record next week, so looks like things are getting back onto schedule again. All of my traveling craziness is over, so that's good. So that would take us to, I'll just look at the calendar because I'm fried. So I should be able to record on the 13th. There we go. And should be back on a regular schedule, which is nice. So yeah. With that, I hope you guys have a lovely week, and I look forward to talking to you guys next week. So take care, guys. Bye-bye.